again, it doesn't give us much to work with. I know that you are in the process of changing, and I encourage that and embrace that. But this is a situation that you have created and tied our hands in helping you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I understand you guys did this.
And you,
Yeah, it's a real challenge for us because nobody wants to see you here in this particular situation.
I understand.
We're about to watch the parole hearing out of the state of Connecticut for this Baba Angel Aladdin, as actual justice warrior likes to say. But plainly put, he is a wrecking ball, someone who commits crime after crime after crime, but given a slap on the wrist sentence for years. When I say slap on the wrist, I mean that he has had 6 opportunities in the community already, 6 times where he was been given probation or suspended sentence where he has failed. What kind of system says not 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out, but 4, 5, 6 until he finally gets a whopping 4-year sentence? I'll go over his full record in all the details. It's remarkable to see how light on crime, the agenda-driven district attorneys and judges, the way that they approach these habitual offenders with white gloves. And anyways, enough of me. Before we watch the parole hearing that we just saw, right, of him crying, we are going to take a flashback to the past, to his original hearing, before we come back to the present day. So let's jump in.
Nehemiah Coates, 421687. Good afternoon.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Coates. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Nehemiah B. Coates, inmate number 421687. Mr. Coates is serving a total effective sentence of 3 years concurrent for the charges of violation of probation, underlying offense being larceny 2nd degree, another violation of probation, underlying offense being burglary 3rd degree, 3 counts larceny of motor vehicle 1st offense, and 1 count larceny 1st degrees. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility of June 27, 2025. This is at 50% eligibility. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for this offender. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender has not participated in any OAP recommended programming. During his DIS interview, the offender reported that he's on the waiting list for both Voices and Addiction Services Tier 2. He also had reported current enrollment in school and that he's been actively working on his PED, not verified. The offender is not working and reported that he cannot because he has to wait for his latest DR to clear on around the 9th of May, 2025. It bears special noting that after the DIS interview, it was learned shortly thereafter that he did incur 2 mean DRs for contraband Class A as recent as the 7th of April, 2025. The offender remains on the Department of Correctional waiting list for general referral for Addiction Services Unit. Education needs to be identified by USD 1, 5 or 7 day job assignment, vocational needs to be assessed by USD 1, and Voices. This is verified by the RT3 query I ran for his case this morning. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the very high range for risk for recidivism. All right, Mr. Coates, this is now your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I ain't gonna lie, like I be thinking about like that question, and I really don't think like right now I'm not ready, because there's a lot of shit that I gotta work on, like with me, as in my surroundings and falling in line with people. I feel like I wanna like waive it and
Okay.
try again.
What do you mean by try again?
Like if I could come back in a couple months or so.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say what you're saying, because at this point you really are not a good candidate for parole. Have they looked at you for a halfway house yet?
Nah, I see that in December 27th.
December? Oh, Yeah, because your date's too far out, yeah. Wow,
Short hearing.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how that works. Can he waive and unwaive later? After a hearing?
Yeah, why don't we just rehear,
It's,
schedule rehearing
if he's,
Give him what to do, he might.
day of next.
That's true, that's true.
if he waits, he has to then request to have it rescinded,
I
and then he has to fill out that
Yeah.
form. And then he goes through the whole process again to get him on a new,
This is a
he
read.
has to do the interview over, do everything again from scratch.
Okay,
This should be-
all right. Yeah, I mean,
April or May.
when you met, did you, so why are you saying this now? When you met with the parole officer, did you think to waive?
Nah, because it's like, when I heard that question, why do I think I should go? It's like, I don't really know, like, I'm not a bad dude, but it's like, I still got a lot of shit I gotta work on as a person. Like, I got school.
You can say
I
stuff.
know-
Yeah.
Yeah,
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, sorry for my
Okay.
language. Sorry for my language, but
And I agree with you. I agree with you. You have a lot to work on. Let's review. Let's just review because I want to know what's going on with you too. So you had many opportunities while you were on probation. You failed miserably at probation. So you come back in, and I read about your underlying stuff too that we're not even going to talk about, right? You've been committing crimes for quite some time now, and you're very young. You're 24 years old. Okay, so you come in and you pick up 15 disciplinary reports, and your last one was less than a month ago. You knew you were coming before parole, right?
yeah.
Okay, so your last of the 15 is less than a month ago, and it's for having pruno. These are serious tickets. You've got contraband, intoxication, fighting, more intoxication, contraband. I mean, these are serious tickets. So you're sabotaging yourself, and you can't offset the tickets by taking programs because they're not going to let you into programs when you have all these tickets, right? So you have 0 programs. You've had 6 opportunities out in the community on community release. You failed at all of them. Our risk assessment, we use tools to try to determine who's going to come back, right? And who might be successful in the community. You score at the very highest level to return, to commit more crimes and come back to us. We don't like to see young people in prison. We would like to help you. Sounds like you have some support out there. You have a brother. But you definitely need a bigger plan for yourself, a better plan for yourself when you go out into the community. So you're right, there's lots to work on. Do you have any insight at all about why you keep making poor choices?
It's just the surroundings. Like, I'll take part of the responsibility for the last ticket because I was cooking, but the other stuff, I just feel me because I was cooking. I just had to feel me. I ain't have to take the pruno, but I just took it just because I was in the cell and I was cooking. I did some bullshit or I messed up. So
You were
It's
using
like-
the pruno, selling it? What was the pruno? What was the purpose of the pruno?
it really wasn't mine. It was my sully's, but I had to because I was cooking and the alarm went
Well,
off.
you knew it was there.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I knew it was there because we're in the same cell. But
Okay.
I just took it because I was cooking and I made the alarm go off. So
Okay, but really, maybe you should have said to your cellmate, you got to get rid of this. We're going to get in trouble. We're going to get caught.
I can't tell another man what to do.
And I'm not going to get in trouble for somebody else's breaking the rules, right?
I get that.
And that's
But-
not all. You can't dismiss all your tickets that way because you were using Suboxone in prison, right?
Yeah, I was.
You're getting into fights, right? I mean, these are choices. I don't know. Okay, what about overall? Why do you keep coming back to prison? Why did you fail in the community?
Out there, it's more of a I don't have a place to stay. Every time I go home. My mom, feel me, I always get kicked out by mom. She's a drunk. I always get kicked out by her. Other than that, than my mom, I have no other place. Like, to actually stay.
What
So
about your
it
brother?
just,
What is your brother in New Haven is listed as your sponsor? Is that not a good place?
Right now, I just found out he back on probation for, I forgot what, but he's back on probation, and he was in the streets too at the time
Okay.
of me out there.
And that's
So
not a
it's
good
like,
place for you. That's not a good place for you then. So
Yeah.
sometimes you have to disassociate even with family if they're not doing the right thing. So your best option would be to go to a halfway house, get a job, save some money, and get your own place and stand on your own 2 feet, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, like, for the next time I do come,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I could go to the halfway out, because I was thinking about this hard
Yeah.
since I met the last time. Like,
Right. All right. So, yeah, I think your best option is we'll bring you back. You know, obviously, you know, the reasons for what our denial reasons would be for today. We can bring you back and I don't know, sometime. What do you think? A year?
And it's
I'd be saying either April or May.
yeah, so then it's give them a year.
Wait, April of 26? April 26th is good. Yeah, so you still have a year out there. You can go to a halfway house, work on, and then save some money. I agree. You need help. You know, you're still young. You have a lot of life ahead of you. And I'm sure you see the older guys in there. You don't want to be one of them going in and out and in and out. And so you have to fix your life. Are you in school right now?
yeah,
Right. I mean, that's a great step. Get your GED. That's going to help you. And education is key, improves all areas of your life. We know this to be true. How far are you from getting your GED?
I'm still working on doing the science. We're doing right now, we're doing TABI testing. That's like to see where you're at overall.
Okay.
And I was gonna say about the programs too, I just learned this jail doesn't have tier 2, and yeah, they don't have tier 2. They have no type of programs here. They only have one voices really. And
Okay, so take voices. You could go to NA meetings. You're going to school already. You could try to, you know, if you get your GED, get a job, voc ed stuff. There's other things you could do. If you know, if they don't have the tier program that you need, just get involved in other things. You know what you have to do, and it sounds like you're a smart guy.
yeah.
So get it done, and we'll bring you back. Okay.
Thank
In
you.
the matter, did you want to add anything? Anybody? No. In the matter of Nehemiah Coates, inmate number 421687, I'll make a motion to deny parole at this time due to inadequate program participation and poor institutional adjustment. We'll rehear the case in April of 26, with the recommendations that he participate in positive programs, continue to work on his education, and don't get any more disciplinary reports. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir. We'll see you in April. Good luck to you. We want to see what you can do here.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
This concludes this one parole hearing for Mr. Nehemiah B. Coates on 421687.
You know, I'm not going to hate him on this hearing. I actually respect the way he approached it. He came in knowing exactly what was up, and he didn't play the games that we are accustomed to seeing. He actually came in and just said, "Hey, can I get another chance? Can I prove myself?" I'm frankly, I just have to respect that. Now, we're not going to have to wait to see how he's done. We're going to come back right now for that follow-up hearing. I need you to put in the comment section whether or not you think he will have not gotten write-ups, will have completed programs, has he done the change that he needs to do? Do you feel it in him that he was ready? While you write that down in the comment section, I'm going to go over the insane criminal history that he has. Thank you, Sir Richard, for pulling it up. Remember that CT only shows the past 10 years. And of course, they're not going to show any juvie record, which was hinted to in the hearing when it said underlining offenses. But you see attempted to commit burglary. He gets 3 years jail suspended, right? So it's a freebie. You don't get nothing. 3 years, but it's suspended. 9/6/2022, violates of probation. Okay. 5/13/2020. So 2 months after he committed that, where he got 3 years suspended, he commits larceny second. So it's a more severe crime. Here he gets 5 years jail, suspended after 1. So now he owes them 8 years. He does 1 year because one is suspended, so he owes them 7 years. 8/3/2022 violates, okay. 1/4/2022 second violation, probation revoked, and 4 years jail. I don't even 10/31/2020, he gets a larceny second degree. So this is after the 9/6. I don't know. It's confusing the way that they do it. But anyways, he gets another year jail. 12/31/2020. He's not out. He's still out on bond or whatever. They haven't like revoked him because it's 2 months after that. He does another a burglary third degree, 1 year jail. 4/5/2021, a larceny first degree, 18 months jail. 10/28/2021, a burglary third degree. He gets 5 years jail. They decide to suspend 1 year again for some reason, to suspend all but 1 year. Another violation of probation. 4/13/2022, conspiracy to commit larceny second degree, 18 months jail. 4/13/2022, attempt to commit $500 or whatever, revoke premium card, another 18 months jail. 5/16/2023, larceny offense of a motor vehicle first degree, 3 years jail. He's still not serving time, right? Because 6 months later, larceny first degree, 24 months jail. And then he's still not serving time because on 12/1/2023, larceny of motor vehicle, 24 months jail. It's a joke. The whole thing is a gimmick. He must owe them like 30 years, but none of that means anything. The maximum time that he actually got in total for all of this, for everything that we're seeing, is he comes in 5/17/2023. His full term date, if he doesn't get parole, is 6/28/2027. So all of these crimes ranging from 2020 to 2023 over 3 years will maximum get him 4 years jail, even though he owes them, I lost count, 30 years or something. And keep in mind too that they always do, these are plea deals. So when it's a larceny first degree, a burglary third degree, like the people, he is the reason that we live in the state that we live in. He is the reason that crime continues to go up and up and up, and the quality of life for everyone goes down and down and down. Now, it's not him per se, it's really the agenda driven judges and DAs. They are the reason they keep like it's insane. It's insane. You already had 6 failed attempts in the community. 6. Why would you get 6 chances at anything? It's not 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, you're out. No, it's 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, 4 strike, 5 strike, 6 strike. The number of times you have to have cuffs on you, the number, because you're only caught a certain percentage of the time. He is a wrecking ball. It's insane. Wake up. Yet Connecticut will go on and they will sit on their high horse and they will say that, their progressive approach to criminal justice is better than everyone else. And no, it's not. It sucks. It's failing. And we call it out here on this channel. Now, let's buckle up. Let's go see if you think he's going to succeed.
Nancy Turner.
Amy Keys.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Please state your name and NME number for the record.
Nehemiah Coates, 421687.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Nehemiah Coates, number 421687. He's serving a sentence of 4 years flat for 3 counts of larceny of a motor vehicle, larceny first, violation of probation with underlying larceny second, and burglary third. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of June 27th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan, and it has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed tier 2. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within a very high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I think I should be granted parole because I've been down for 3 years and like I take accountability for what I played my part in my case, and So I get a little nervous. I feel like um,
Don't really have a leg to stand on, do you, Mr. Coates?
I understand. I played in my case, and I understand the inconvenience I caused for the victim of my case, and I understand the inconvenience I caused for myself. I still want so much opportunities. And I feel like I've changed within this 3 years. Last year, when I seen you guys, I couldn't figure out what my problem was. My problem is, I was prideful. I didn't like to ask for help. I didn't like to seek for help. I feel like if you guys let me out, I want to. I feel like if you guys let me out, I want to use you guys' resources to help myself be better for myself, community, and my family.
Okay. Thank you for that statement, Mr. Coates. I was on your hearing last year. And I couldn't be more disappointed. 5 DRs, one a week ago today. Why?
Are you talking about the last DR ticket?
I'm talking about the 5 that you got since your last hearing, including the one you got just last week for contraband.
Well, I take full accountability for all the tickets I caught last year, but this recent ticket, my cellmate, it was really his. He didn't take it. I was gonna fight the ticket, but I just didn't want to stay inside. The cell here is.
You know, you have a prior contraband and a conspiracy to contraband, you know, since your last hearing. So I don't really think it matters if you're disputing the one from last week. You know, so we're going to ask questions of you. We're going to begin with my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez.
And I guess you know right where I'm at. I mean, I hear you're sharing your sadness and all of this, but you know, when you're given a rehear, you're given an opportunity to come back when you probably shouldn't even get an opportunity to begin with, because people found that there was a reason not to let you go at that particular point. So they wanted to see what you would do in that amount of time to kind of grow and do better, you know, take programs. You didn't take any additional programs. And you got 5 tickets. So I'm not even sure what questions I would even ask you, because you know, your responses are going to be basically the same as the last time you were interviewed. So, I mean, if you want to share something that you think you've learned.
In tier 2, I learned to take accountability. I learned that family matters, and to just gotta focus on what matters. Anything that doesn't is just, you're just doing anything. It gave me a sense of community. Like I gotta want for myself and look for the help from my community, and that there's people out there that's willing to help you. That
doesn't tell me what you really got from anything. Although, you know, and I'm glad to hear that you know, that there's a community, you know, there's a community out there to help you. But I mean, I have to tell you, I'm just, you know, we give people opportunities, probably at times that, you know, we should maybe not give them to them because they don't do what they need to be doing. In your case, you were given a chance to really come back to us and tell us all the wonderful things you could have been doing at this point, and instead, we're looking at 5 DRs.
So I understand.
Just the opposite, and, you know, and you know, you're a young man, and you're still a young man, you know, with your life ahead of you, and now, I mean, where do we go with it? It created a challenge. It creates a challenge for us.
Yeah, I understand.
So I don't really have a lot of questions for you, because I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
I'm trying.
I'm just struggling with, and I'm gonna pick it to you, but, you know, in July, you got found in possession of a makeshift pipe. And then you get the exact same DR in November. And that November DR, you would have been in tier 2 at the time because you completed tier 2 in December. And you had an overdose in your cell in
Nah.
4 days that you were shaking and unresponsive in your cell. That wasn't an overdose?
This was in July.
July 7th, 4:10 in the afternoon, they called a code white.
Yeah, nah, what happened was I had ate, they had gave me some raw chicken, I ate it and I had a stomach ache and I threw up. And I had asked the CO constantly if I could get medical attention, they wouldn't give me medical attention. My stomach fell to the point where I couldn't breathe. I threw up all over the floor, I couldn't move, none of that. Then they sent me to medical, they called the code white, and sent me to medical. And the makeshift pipe, if you really read the CO that signed the ticket, he in November he was the same officer. I was being targeted. The same CO.
How do you sit here, Mr. Coates, and tell us you take full accountability and then spew this kind of stuff that you're the target of a CO who doesn't like you? I'm going to tell you that the DR says medical staff stated there was no medical issue with inmate Coates. If you had food poisoning from undercooked chicken, I think there might have been something to it. But the pipes aside, the conspiracy to bring K2 into the prison, was this your get-rich-quick scheme? You're going to make a sum of bread off of, and I'm not going to use the N-word you used. I want to be able to send bread home to you.
That's what I was talking about. Take full accountability for. I should have, because I forgot all about the pipe and all that. I should have really broke it down. But I take full accountability for that ticket.
I don't know what you mean by broke it down. We have the details. You're asking your girlfriend who you want to sponsor to get you to convey K2 into the prison. And you know, the thing is, you sat in tier 2 and you listened to other inmates who were struggling with lifelong addiction to different substances, right? You heard people addicted to heroin, crack, PCP, right?
Yes.
And you're willing not only to undermine their recovery efforts, but it's all for your own profit. So you can do there's no right way to do the wrong thing. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, to send money home. Do you hear how you were actively poisoning the community there in the facility for your own financial gain? With no regard for the fact that you're listening to people who are suffering and struggling to achieve sobriety and recovery. And you just didn't give a damn because you saw a way to make money.
After I did the program, though, I understand my part I played in that.
Good. Okay, that's some progress. Ms. Keys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Looking at your history, it looks like it's mostly larcenies and burglaries. You did have a homelessness problem for a while, right?
Yeah. I've been homeless since I was 16.
And so I think even one of the officers had noted, somewhere I read it, maybe one of the officers, that, you know, you were stealing cars and things for survival, to sleep in the car. That, do you think that is attributed a lot to your criminal activities?
Yes, me being on the streets. That's why I said I feel like if with you guys' help, if you guys let me help with you guys' resources, I can get back to being, I could be a good civilian for my community, my family.
I believe you want that. I really do. And I believe you can do it. I do believe you can do it. I think you're turning, you're changing, you mentioning that you didn't used to ask for help. And I had read that too. And then you said it again today. And I think that's a huge thing. Some people we meet with here come to that when they're 60. They've been coming in and out since then, and they don't realize that asking for help is important and good and has been a weakness of theirs until they're much older than you. So I think it's really good that you realize that at this point. Have you experienced helping others and know how that feels?
Yeah. I try to help every day I could. With inmates in the block, anything I have, if somebody come and ask me for soup, I give what I have. I'll give my last, for real.
And that helps you feel good. It gives you kind of purpose. You feel good. It feels like you feel like a good person. And so I think allowing other people to help you and asking them for help is also doing something for them sometimes, because then they can help you. And I think they'd rather help you before you end up in here again. And then they know they were part of your success story. So I think thinking more about asking for help and knowing that it's not a selfish thing. It can be also for them too. They can be part of this success story. You haven't really had a legitimate job before. And I don't think you've been able to work in the facility, right? You're still on the wait list for that?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. You signed up for vocational stuff to see if you can get into a vocational training?
Yeah, I should be on the waiting list for school, and I was supposed to start voicing sometime this month.
I think vocational training too. So, so that when you get released, if you could have a CDL or have anything that, even if it's not your dream job, something that you could then show and it could get you some legal income and get you started. And then you can always pursue other careers. But I think it'd be helpful for you if you could then have something like that. And then that's also part of your identity. You're not just someone who's been in prison. You're someone who is a CDL driver or a chef. I know you like to cook. It could be a culinary program. I mean, you're worthy fighting for. And I think I want you to keep fighting for yourself. I know you really want to get out. I know you're desperate to get out. And I get it. I just want to make sure that you're ready, because I don't want you coming back. And I think you're finally ready to ask for help. And I don't want you to feel like you do it. And then if it doesn't go well, then you're not going to do it again because it didn't go well and you feel bad. I want you to be as ready as possible. Let me just see if I have any.
I add to that.
Oh, okay.
So the position that you put us in, Mr. Coates, is, you need housing.
Yeah.
And parole can do that for you. But if we grant you discretionary parole with 5 new DRs, that spreads throughout the whole facility. And our word and our recommendations mean nothing. So, you might feel like we're letting you down, but you have us over a barrel. How are we going to grant you with 5 new DRs? Even if it was only 4, it would be unacceptable. And let me remind you, in your conversation with the judge, you took a 4-year sentence so you would not be on probation. You opted for this jail time. And now you sit here asking for your release to supervision, and you have failed 6 times at supervision in the past. Again, it doesn't give us much to work with. I know that you are in the process of changing, and I encourage that and embrace that. But this is a situation that you have created and tied our hands in helping you. Does that make sense?
I understand. I understand you guys. Listen,
And you,
Yeah, it's a real challenge for us because nobody wants to see you here in this particular situation.
I understand.
I hope that you really consider doing what you can with whatever time you have left, as my colleague said, to get in a vocational program, to do some programming that will give you something so that when you come out, you can be much more prepared. And you don't find yourself in this spot because we don't want to see you there. You're 24 years old.
a lot of people start by volunteering in cleaning the showers and other jobs there in the facility to get their foot in to get a job. And you have potentially a year of being able to work there and sock away a little bit of money. You had your prior hearing, you wanted to parole to your brother's house, right, in Fairhaven?
Yeah.
Is he still an option for you so you won't be homeless?
Nah, what I was gonna do, I was gonna ask you guys if you guys could put me into a halfway house so I can get started, like get my so I can get started for real. Like the last time I was,
We understand that, but you know, like I just told you, DOC is willing to entertain you 6 months before your end of sentence for a halfway house. And right now, sir, that's your best bet. So clean up your behavior and use the time to do some programming and volunteer until you can get a job.
The only other thing I was going to say was just thinking about work and vocation, that fast money is tempting and it's exciting and you can feel desperate. But if you even get just any job and just slowly earn, then at the end, you'll end up with more money than if you do fast money and you end up back in prison. And then you come back by the end, you'll end up having more money. Start out with something legal, even if it's, the lowest paying, whatever, just, I don't want to see you come back here. What else was I going to say? And then, we looked at, your background. I know my colleague, and she's right. She said, it's your actions that got you here, and she's right. But I do want to acknowledge that you've had a difficult childhood. You've been handed situations that were not your fault at all, and that definitely made things difficult for you. And I am sorry for that. So you are trying to create a life for yourself without much of the support that some other people have had. I'm glad you found some support in your brothers and your mom, and I'm hoping that can continue. I just want to acknowledge that, you have been handed a difficult hand, but I think you're really on the right path. I think you're gonna do well. You have the passion of the heart, know that you're worth it. And I'm sorry I'm giving a little speech, but I want to help you. It is just hard. I really, really want to help you, especially as my colleague said, with the halfway house and everything and programs. But to her point, with this number of DRs, if we do, it makes us, it's really difficult. It's really hard. So breaking my heart a little, but I want you to do well. I want you to use this time. Please try vocational, anything you can try and get into, volunteering. If officers and counselors see you trying to help others and doing things, and is there anything you can do to help out, and they might help you out a little more too. All right. I want you to do well. Best of luck, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your time.
We're not done yet, but
Mr. Coates, in terms of, you were looking at New Haven for a halfway house if you were granted one. You don't have to be in a halfway house to go to the reentry centers around the state. You can be living with family members, you can be staying in a homeless shelter, and you can still get help through the reentry centers. And that's your best bet for vocational training, for schooling, and they work with employers who are willing to hire people with criminal histories. So don't temp agency, go to a reentry center. You know, they're there to help. I mean, that's why they're all over the state, because, you know, they want to support you turning your life around. And, you know, like what my colleague was saying about asking for help, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, that's-
none of us have to go it alone.
Yeah.
That was my problem. I used to think it was weak to ask for help.
Yeah.
But
But you know differently now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. You know, hang in there for, I guess it'll be in the fall that, DOC will consider you for a halfway house. And I
Not
hope
too far away.
hope you'll be successful. Use that time in between.
Good luck, sir.
No more DRs though, because that's really gonna
Yeah.
undercut
Yeah.
any halfway house placement. All right, so, I'm gonna use the reasons of, offense on probation, for
Yeah.
institutional adjustment in the nature and circumstance.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. Tell me how you pronounce your first name, sir.
Nehemiah.
Okay. So Nehemiah Coates, inmate number 421687. There's a motion to deny parole today for the following reasons. Your offenses were committed on probation, the nature and circumstances of your offenses, and your poor institutional adjustment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None of us is happy about
Sad,
this.
sad, that was a sad second.
Man, but,
That was a sad second.
you know, I hope you've heard this today. We do care about you, sir. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
This was the hearing for Nehemiah.
I don't feel bad for him one bit. Did you see how he was able to turn on the waterworks, put on the pouty face, which, by the way, has worked for him 6 times? He had been given 6 opportunities in the community instead of going to jail. So, of course, he would fall back to the pouty face. Of course, he would fall back to the crocodile tears. And by the way, that's 6 times on his adult record. Imagine how many times he turned on that act expecting results, right? And then he still got some of it. The parole board still saying, "Oh, we're rooting for you. Oh, that was a sad second. Oh, you can." Are you kidding? Did you see? You know what really pissed me off is the moment they bring up the DR about how he is having an overdose, and he says, looking into their eyes with so much conviction, "It was bad chicken. I wasn't having an OD. It was bad chicken." You're calling us a bunch of idiots. You think we're stupid. You lose all my sympathy. You want to come in here and just say, "I have an addiction problem. I got a problem. I got, I screwed up." Okay. But you're going to go here and talk about bad chicken? He got another DR for creating like more booze. "Oh, I was just cooking it. The alarm went off." Wow. You know the craziest thing? Again, think about this. Let this sink in. He doesn't have special parole after this. He's finishing his flat sentence. He's going to go out with nothing. And then, any new felony, he'll be back. He'll be back in within a few months. There's no doubt about it. But he not on a special parole because he was somehow in the position to negotiate with the sentencing judge to give him a flat sentence. You heard the parole board say that. You don't even have special parole. You told the judge you want a flat sentence. Tell me, like I am 5 years old, how he has any power to negotiate his sentence with the judge in that way. All he landed after years of crime, after 3 stolen motor vehicles? 1 wasn't enough. 2 wasn't enough. 3? I have no sympathy for people who steal vehicles. I've had vehicles stolen from me. And I had a motorcycle stolen from me. I couldn't have full coverage on that motorcycle for theft because you know why? because how frequently where I live, motorcycles are stolen. It wasn't insurable. And if I could find that guy who stole it, I would want no mercy for that guy. And you know how many times people who have their car stolen, and oftentimes they don't have insurance because they can't afford it. So you're taking from them something that could just literally will alter their life. They don't have money sitting around to go and buy a new car. But no, he gets chance after chance after chance, years and years and years and years and years and years of a suspended sentence. Then finally, he's sentenced 5/17/2023, 6/28/2027. He gets out. I don't know if he's sentenced 2023, but that's when he was admitted. I mean, that's that's not the point. And then somehow he negotiates with the judge to have a flat. Well, the judge could have said, you know what? Instead of giving you just a 4 years, I see here that you owe us like 30 years. I mean, if we go through your record, let's see. Well, why don't we do a 4 years flat sentence with 3 years special parole? It's not like you deserve anything better. It's not like you're a Beba Angel Aladdin, right? And then what's he do? In prison, he has so many write-ups, more than is common, and he even has a conspiracy to bring drugs into the facility. And that just happened after he has another chance. And then he puts on the waterworks and say, oh, this was a hard second. What they need to do is call him out and say, don't play these games. You're doing this to yourself. You are your own worst enemy. Until someone can actually look him in the eyes and slap him around a little bit, rhetorically speaking, what did it for me, what triggered it for me was when he sat there and just with like the so much what's the word, I'm just just like assurance. The lie was such a practice. It was chicken. Wow. Just wow.
Derek Powell, 341-979.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Derek Powell, number 341-979. He's serving a sentence of 12 years suspended after 4 years, followed by 10 years of probation for risk of injury to a child and two counts of voyeurism and 2 counts of failure to appear first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of November 23rd, 2025. There is victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed. It shows the offender has completed the short track sex offender program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the low moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
All right, first, I believe that this is my second time ever being incarcerated. My first incident was when I was 17 years old. I had 8 years special parole, and I didn't come back at that time. So
okay, Mr. Powell, we are looking for you to explain to us why you believe you deserve parole now. Please read your history.
So basically, I prove that I can stay home. Maybe have a little hiccup, but I prove that I can stay home and remain home and be law-abiding citizen. I made mistakes in my life. But I strive to be much better, and I can be better, and I will be better. And I just feel like I stay out of trouble.
while I'm here, stay away from everybody, everything. I barely go to rec. That's how I stay out of trouble and stay ticket free, because it's not easy to stay ticket free in here. You can get in trouble in many ways. And just the time that I missed from my kids, growing up and every day hearing.
Okay, you're going back again to the reasons why you want parole.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you why you have to tell us how you have prepared yourself to be suitable for release.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you're right. Doing programs, programs also have contacted my therapist. That's one of my main things. Like getting home, working, just doing the right things.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think we need to move into the questions that we've prepared for you, because you're starting to repeat yourself. You're going back to your plan when you're out, and we're looking for what you've done to make yourself suitable for release. So maybe we can get at that by asking about your time there in the facility.
Okay.
All right. So you mentioned programs, multiple programs. We only have that you've done the short track sex offender program. Have you done other programs?
Yeah, no, well, I have.
It's a yes or no.
No,
it's a yes or no. Okay.
Okay.
So don't exaggerate. You did one program, correct? Okay. I do recognize that you haven't had any DRs. You've been working in the clothing factory. All very good. However, this is your second period of incarceration. And while you say little hiccups, you did come back off of special parole with new charges in 2018. So that's a bit more than a hiccup. That's a whole new conviction. So you have engaged in quite problematic and concerning behavior out in the community. I didn't hear you offer anything by way of an apology. Is there something that you would want to say if the victims were listening?
Yeah, see, like I didn't know. Yes, I'm 100% sorry. I'm compassionate, and I take accountability for all my actions. I take accountability for everything. But
what what does take accountability mean?
For what I've done, for the boneheaded decisions that I made, and I'm sorry. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying this to try to make something. I mean it. I really do. I mean it. I'm compassionate about it, and So,
all right, let's explore that. So you did describe your actions as creepy, and I would have to agree.
Right.
So what do you think the impact was on the victims of your upskirting voyeurism convictions?
Oh, it could have. I hope it didn't have a lasting effect forever, But I'm pretty sure it did some things mentally, because I grew up.
Okay, I'm going to keep the focus on the impact on the victims. We've got mentally. How else were they harmed?
I have, obviously I have no contact with them, but I could just imagine mentally.
Which is what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah. Maybe mentally, maybe like it could have did something to them, and I'm sorry for it.
Okay, well, we need to explore that a little bit more fully. And you do have voices on your OAP, so it's very clear you need to take that program to understand the harm that you caused. But I'm sure these victims were traumatized.
Yes.
You made them afraid to be out in public.
Yeah.
They're now always concerned about whatever clothing they have on and whether somebody is going to attempt to violate them in the ways that you did. They probably can't go back to a Stop and Shop. And one of your victims was 12 years old.
Right.
So what she's learned is that men do creepy things like this, that it's hard to trust anybody around her, especially strangers. You've got to be hyper vigilant in whatever environment you're at because somebody might be trying to do something, that's traumatizing and victimizing to the individual. Why did you do these things, Mr. Powell?
Honestly,
Please.
I can only say, one thing I can say is, when I'm gonna say this. I'm not making an excuse for it, but that's why I know it got to be some a lot of hard things there because I was sexually assaulted when I was younger, and growing up, those things were normal. I thought those things were normal. I almost thought as if everybody went through those same things. Not making an excuse for it, but
which things are you referring to as normal? Because
Like
the
being touched,
upskirting is a whole
like-
different kind of crime than putting your hands on somebody and violating
like
them
me-
sexually.
right? But me being touched, being molested, sexually assaulted. I growing up in a house with like incest. I felt like those things were normal, and until I got older, I realized like, wow, these things actually don't really happen. These things happen in our household, and I don't know where like I don't know where like I went wrong. Like I had like these issues like where I never was able to talk to nobody about them until now because now the things come out. So now it's like it's easier to express. I can talk to a therapist about these things because before I couldn't say anything because like nobody knows about the weird things that's going on, But now that it's out, I can talk about it, be free about it because that's the only way you get help. Learning and being in the program that I learned about the triggers, like, and what do you do when things trigger you?
Okay, so share with us your triggers.
Like I guess like being around, all right, like being around in a public situation, a public area, and like just seeing certain things, like seeing women, because I'm really attracted to women, but the weird part about it is mainly I didn't really ever have trouble having a girlfriend before. That's why it's like these things come out of left field. But those triggers, if I get triggered by seeing like a beautiful female and I try to talk to her and maybe not want to talk to me. Now, sometimes those will lead to certain kind of triggers, as far as like, oh man, if I probably can't have her, so maybe I could probably take a picture, and those things are terribly wrong. But like I said, I couldn't talk about it, but now that I can, I know how to and who to call when I do find these triggers because nobody, like, what I mean? Like these things,
So far for triggers, we have being out in public and seeing beautiful women. Not pornography. How about your daily use of pornography? Is that a trigger?
Well, kind of, but I wasn't really I wasn't really into too much like pornography like that. I used to make videos, like consensual videos, like with my girlfriends or former people that I was with.
I'm gonna bring you back to my question, because when you were interviewed by the Center for Problem Sexual Behavior in September, you said that you believe the use of pornography impacted your daily life. Now you're minimizing it.
I mean, I can honestly say, like, I did. I mean, but maybe okay. Well, she was talking about probably like the upskirts, like the ups. You know how on porn you could go to upskirt, actually an upskirt in pornography. So, but so sometimes, sometimes I did watch those things and stuff like that. But at the same time, it wasn't like a everyday thing. But I think, but most of it definitely came from there, as far as upskirts. I've never seen that type of stuff before in my life until, it'll be up on your search history before I ever even searched it, but see, like wanting to be home and needing to be home outweighs anything that I ever did in the past. And because I know that I can do this. Like I know that I can do this. And you know,
I don't doubt that you can address your history and your criminal acts in ways that will help you not reoffend. But I clearly, Mr. Powell, don't see that you're there yet. So what we do here today is make a decision about whether it's appropriate for you to finish the 4 years you have to serve out in the community under parole supervision. And we have to do that in light of the interests of public safety. And it's very clear to me you have a lot more work to do on yourself. Would you agree?
I do.
Okay. You have numerous programs on your OAP that you should look into completing. And I would suggest to you that you ask at the facility to take a parenting program, because you have 4 children under the age of 10. And you now have 10 years on the sex offender registry as a result of this conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have a lot of restrictions on your access to those children in any kind of way, supervised, unsupervised. And you're going to need to learn how to conduct yourself appropriately with children, your own in particular, given your own history and how that is triggering for you. Because, it's important that these children are safe.
Right.
You have a standing criminal protective order against you until the year 2087. Tell me what you understand that means.
Say that again, for me, please.
Standing criminal protective order has been
Yeah.
issued against you until the year 2087. What does a standing criminal protective order mean for you?
I think I can only tell you what I think it means. I think it means to stay away from my victim, the victim in the case. I haven't heard that before, so but I think that's what it means.
It was issued to you in court.
Yeah.
So yes, and that means you can't have contact through a third person, and you can't have contact electronically through social media. So you can't send messages through Snapchat. You can't look this person up on Facebook when you get out. You just need to leave this person alone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to pass the opportunity to speak with you on to my colleagues. Mr.
I have
Rodriguez.
no questions, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Keys.
No questions, thank you.
All right, so at this time, we're going to turn the hearing over to the Office of Victim Services. Mr. Powell, you are not to speak. Ms. Hamlet-Williams?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a statement from the mother of the victim in this case. And it reads, "Hi, I am the mother of the victim. I am writing to say I do not think Derek should be released. My now 15-year-old daughter is scared. She will not go outside or into a store. It has been over 3 years and she hasn't gone into a store. I would also like to know what programs Derek has completed, if any. Does he have any remorse for what he has done to these children? And does he understand how this has impacted the children and the parents? I have had to quit my job to care for my daughter because she is now homeschooled. So for all of these reasons, I would like him to serve more time. He has done this to more than one child. He was on parole before and failed to comply from what I see. So why would we let him? Thank you."
Okay. We appreciate that input. So, Mr. Powell, we're going to discuss your case. So there are a few things Mr. Powell has working in his favor. He has supervision to follow. He has a sponsor. He has some job skills. and has a plan to work for his grandfather's cleaning business. He seems to understand the restriction of the protective order that's in place against him. There are a lot of programs that he could still benefit from. He is end of sentence in approximately September of next year. And I think those programs can help position him for success when he's out, and help him from reoffending. And I think that's what's most important, is that he continue to work on himself. I'm glad to hear that he's open to therapy for doing that. The circumstances of the offense are extremely concerning. So I have nature and circumstance, injury and impact, inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change as my reasons for denying Mr. Powell today.
I understand basically the same thing, I'm sure.
I will just say that I was very happy reading the interview notes, that he really did seem to demonstrate remorse and embarrassment, and didn't was early in his reflection on how and why he committed these offenses. I really loved his eagerness for counseling. So I just want to acknowledge that. I think that's really good, and I think and hope that eagerness will help him moving forward. But yes, I think completing the programs, new thoughts would be great. Voices and was around his OAP. So yeah, I think using this time to complete programs would be helpful.
Yeah.
I think he also needs to work on a release plan, because though he does have a sponsor, 3 of his children live with that girlfriend. And I can't imagine that probation and his time in the problem sexual behavior treatment program is going to allow for him to have that kind of living arrangement. So he could use the time between now and then to figure out something else for himself. So in the matter of Derek Powell, inmate number 341979, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons: the nature and circumstances of your offenses, the injury and impact caused to the victim and the victim's family, your inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Parole is denied.
This concludes the hearing for Derek Powell.
We wish you much success, sir. Get into some more programs, especially something on parenting.
All right. Thank you.
Let me frame the insanity of this case. This man, this is his 3rd offense of getting caught, and somehow he only has 4 years. Somehow he's rated at a low to moderate risk on the static 9-9, and somehow he only needs to register for 10 years. Everybody knows that voyeurism is like, it's like a different level of messed up. It's a different level of deviancy. You don't get better when you're a voyeur, and yet he only needs to register for 10 years. It's the agenda-driven judges that put our communities at risk. They are insane. Again, let me point out, he committed this crime twice and then got a 2-for-1 special. You see this article written April 4th, 2024. Stanford man gets 30 months for taking voyeuristic pictures at a grocery store. Well, you scroll down to the bottom of the article, all the way at the bottom. Thank you, Sir Richard, for bringing it here. And police, okay, I have to bring it down. Court records show that in 2022, he was charged with a similar incident at a supermarket in Vernon. And he also pled guilty in connection to that case. So he pleads guilty in 2022, only to get caught doing it again, and then to get a 30-month total sentence. And this is after he had already had that crime when he was 17, which they don't talk about because he was just a little poor, Bebe Angel Aladdin, right? Why should we talk about that one? We know that he's taking it to minors. We heard from the victim how it affects her, which is just insane. It's so insane. They're so sick. Let me break this down so you can understand again how insane this is. 6/9/2022, risk of injury to a minor. They sentenced him to 7 years, suspended after 2, probation 5. 9/20/2023, he failure to appear, so he doesn't even show up to court. Oh no, here, so that's after. So 6/9/2022, he's busted with risk of injury to child, taking the pictures. 3/31/2023, so he's not in prison for that. They don't sentence him for that. And he gets it again. Voyeurism, photos. He's given like bond and told to come to court. And 9/20/2023, he doesn't come to court. And apparently that's not enough. He's given bond again because 1/8/2024, he again fails to show up to court. Look at the years 7, 5. So that's what is that? 12. 4 is 16. 5 is 21. And 1 is 26. 26 years. When you look at the system, 26 years if you add it all up, but it's all a gimmick. What's he have to serve? 2024, 2/14/2024 is when he checked into prison. He has his parole hearing April 2026. The maximum he's going to serve is 11/24/2027. So 3 years on all of this, 2-for-1 special after 2-for-1 special, more victims after more victims. Who is responsible for this insanity? It's the agenda-driven district attorneys and judges that do not care about our children, that do not recognize that these predators cannot control themselves, that they will not stop. So to add insult to injury, his game plan when he gets out is to go home with 6 children. Who knows how many are biologically his, even if that makes a difference. We know it often doesn't make a difference. And he only has to register for 10 years. It's an insult to all of our intelligence. It's an insult to common sense. It's an insult. And why do they do it? And he, and this is the only time he got caught. The way that it went down, he's dressed in like a construction outfit so that like thinking that would make him get away, people wouldn't think twice. Here, I'll show you the other article here. Thank you again, Sir Richard. This is the 2022 case. So this is 2022 case, which they let him out of bond for him to commit it again. Stanford man accused of taking illicit photos at store. And these are of children. And we heard from the victim's mother. Can you imagine how much it affects her? She won't go into a supermarket. Vernon, Connecticut, a Stanford man has been charged with voyeurism case involving children at Stop and Shop, and the Vernon police said. Vernon police released the details of the June 9 incident of this week. At 1:45 p.m. that day, Vernon police were called to the store at 50 Winford Road. Staff members told the officers that a man wearing an orange traffic vest entered the store and took several upskirt photos. Up the shorts, photographs of young. Okay. They were just juveniles, and their ages, police said. Derek, who's 33 years old, was then taken into custody and charged with voyeurism, risk of injury to a child, and breach of peace. He's a full-on chomo. He's a voyeuristic chomo living with kids, and people don't think about this. It like you're gonna go and live with your kids. Those kids have friends. Those kids have cousins. Those kids. He is like, and no one gets caught the first time. He's walking around doing this all day long, just obsessing over it. And no, but don't worry, he's a low to moderate risk. A low to moderate risk. This is his 3rd offense, and he's still low to moderate risk. And he only needs to register for 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make it up, but we expose the system here, and he will be out soon. Think about that.
Mandoo Moran, 278-171.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Manuel Moran, number 278-171. He is serving a sentence of 8 years, followed by 2 years of special parole for manslaughter second. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of September 27th, 2026. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the Voices program, anger management, tier 2, and recovery. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
My name is Mandoo Moran. I stand here before you today as I request to be paroled to a halfway house after my conviction for second-degree manslaughter. I take full accountability for my actions. In these years of incarceration, I have dedicated myself to growth. I've completed the Tier 2 anger management and the Voices Initiative program. I also earned CCAR certification and ServSafe training. These programs have taught me accountability, emotional regulations, and the value of making better decisions. I am also a recovering addict, and my journey to sobriety is a crucial part of my transformation. My future plans are to work with other recovering addicts, guiding them through the same struggles I have faced. I hope to give back by becoming part of the CCAR program myself so I can help others find the hope and structure I have found. I have also worked diligently, receiving multiple positive work reports from different facilities today. Today I am employed at the clothing factory. I have shown dedication and consistency and respect. I am learning every day how to live responsibly, stay accountable, and respect every person I encounter. I do not ask for leniency, but for a chance to prove that I can be a better person. If granted parole, I will stay connected to structure support, continue working, and stay accountable for my rehabilitation. Thank you for your consideration. I also want to add that right now, I already have a job set up in West Hartford for the Poundhouse Cafe. I just got to go to the Better Chance program in Hartford. I already got the halfway house approved. I'm halfway house approved already. But if I go to the I want to go to the Better Chance program and get a manager ServSafe training, and they're gonna give me a job. A friend already helped me get a job in Poundhouse Cafe in West Hartford. So I'm, I got everything set up. I got good support. And I'm really want to work with the CCAR program. I know they have those in the Hartford House also. So,
All right, Mr. Moran, we're going to ask you some questions based on the documents that were available to us. So I'm just going to review the scenario. You were denied discretionary parole in 2017. You had a sentence with 7 years of special parole that began in July of 2018.
yes.
You returned within 4 months with a relapse. Same thing happened again in 2019. And then you went out again and came back on a technical violation. So you've really struggled on supervision in the past.
Yes, I did, ma'am.
You were on special parole for sales and risk of injury when you committed this manslaughter. You have a criminal history that dates back to 1998 and involves other assaultive acts, robberies, domestic violence. Very concerning. You have
Yes,
a long
ma'am.
assaultive history, 6 convictions alone for assault.
Yep. Oh, man, all I can say is I'm not that person anymore,
Okay, well, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Yes, I
And we
understand.
make this decision about whether it's appropriate for you to go out about a little over a year early to discretionary parole before you begin 2 years of special parole. And we have to make that decision in light of the interests of public safety. And you were somebody who was willing to stick a knife in another human being and cause their death.
No,
So,
ma'am, that's not like that. I was found not guilty of that.
Yeah, you denied. I
Ma'am,
forgot. You denied that, right?
No. I listen. I got found not guilty on robbery first and not guilty on felony murder. I was found guilty of manslaughter too, due to the fact that me and the person had an argument, and they think that I was the one that caused the heart of it. I never put a knife on nobody. I got found not guilty for that, ma'am. And I'm not gonna say.
So
I
you
can
got
say-
convicted of a manslaughter, sir. So it
Yes,
was a
ma'am.
lesser charge and somebody
Because-
died.
Yes, because the person
Okay.
died 3 weeks
So
later.
when you say you take full accountability, I guess we don't understand what that means.
No, I
you
take
don't-
full accountability
similarly,
because I got found guilty of the manslaughter. I'm not gonna sit here and argue and say,
The
I
man
wasn't
isn't
there,
any
you
less
know.
dead on a manslaughter
person-
than he is on a
ma'am,
murder charge.
a
He's
person
still
died,
dead.
yes, ma'am, and I take
So
full
why were you
accountability for my
outside
action.
of the root dispensary?
Excuse me?
Why were you outside of the root dispensary?
I was in the methadone clinic, ma'am, taking treatment for my addiction.
You weren't there to sell drugs?
No, ma'am, I wasn't. I was buying drugs. That's what happened with the situation.
Oh, you
I
were
went-
buying.
I was buying
What were
drugs
you
from.
buying?
I was buying heroin from Julio Ruiz, the
Okay.
victim,
And
and
what were
that's
they giving you at the dispensary?
methadone.
Methadone?
It wasn't
Okay.
working. ma'am. That's why. Right now,
Okay,
I'm
so you
off. Right now, I'm off methadone, Suboxone, everything. I'm clean. I've been clean for
Good for
all
you.
these years.
Okay, that's great. It's about time. It's necessary. What is your relapse prevention plan?
Well, I'm gonna work with the CCAR program. I wanna work for the CCAR program. I wanna go to any meetings. I wanna stay connected to CCAR. That's why I did the program here. So I could, I have a
Have you
plan.
done NA in the community before?
Yes, ma'am, I have. I did it in the
Have you ever
hospital.
worked with a sponsor?
No, I never worked with a sponsor.
Have you ever worked the 12 steps?
Yes, I have.
And
Yes.
how did you do that?
Well, I help with the NA program. With
That's
the
not
NA
what the 12
program.
steps are. The 12 steps are the foundation of the NA and AA.
Yes,
And that's
1
how
through
you
12.
work on yourself and your recovery. Meetings are a way to share that with other people.
With other
But
people,
there's still
yes.
step meetings where you go and you actually spend time focused on each of the individual 12 steps, one at a time, progress through them. What happens when you get to step 12?
I never did the foundation. I just learned about the 12 steps through the
Okay,
NA.
but that's the
But I never
mechanism for
said-
working on yourself.
Okay, but
So
I never.
it's not about sitting in meetings, drinking bad coffee and listening to other people talk. You actually need to be working on yourself.
That's why I
So
had
you
to
need
get
to seek
sponsored.
out step meetings. Go to
Okay,
step meetings.
All
Get
right.
yourself the book.
all right, yes, I will.
Congratulations on getting your GED.
Thank you. I'm gonna do whatever is necessary I have to do to stay clean, because I know that fentanyl is killing everybody. My little brother already died from that.
Have you
I'm
ever
not-
heard of the adage 90 and 90?
The adage 90 and 90? No, I haven't.
The expression 90 and 90. If you go to 90 meetings in your first 90 days out in the community, that can mean
Yes.
several meetings in one day.
Yes, I do. I have heard of it in the NA meetings, yes.
Yeah, it's a goal to set for yourself.
Okay,
Mhm. I'm concerned that you didn't participate in the Tier 4 program. Did they offer it to you?
no, never. I did the tier 2.
Yeah, but you have a drug score of 4 and
Yeah, but
and an extensive drug history.
You have 10.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, they never offered
Why
it
did
to-
you refuse the specimen in 2024?
I didn't refuse. It's that they put refusal, man, because you didn't give the urine, because you gave me 3 hours. I couldn't pee. A person looking at me, I get stage fright. I'm be honest, and I can't go with the CO right there looking at me.
You completed the Voices program, but you didn't say anything in your opening statement, which you took the time to write out by way of any kind of remorse for the ending of Mr. Ruiz's life. Is there something you might want to say if his family members are listening?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
all right, yeah, we read that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I had the letter right here if you want me to read it out loud.
And no, because we've read it. Is there something that you might want to say to the family?
I want to say that I'm very remorseful for what happened, that, it wasn't my intentions for Julio to die. If I could have done anything different that day, I would have. That I'm sorry that, I'm not that person. And, I have suffered loss too. And I know that they're going through a lot because of this situation. And I am truly sorry that, that this happened. That wasn't the way I wanted it to happen, for Julio to die. He was my friend. He was a friend of mine. I knew him. I knew him for a couple of years when I was in treatment with him. So,
All right, thank you, Mr. Moran. Mr. Rodriguez, some
Thank you.
questions?
I sure want to be your friend, Mr. Ray. You're gonna put a knife to your friend's throat? And then there was this whole piece of you stomping on his nebulizer, on the thing he uses for his asthma. That's really what created the situation, right? He must have got anxious, nervous, started having an asthma attack.
If you were to read my my transcripts from my trial, you would see that there was never no asthma pump found at the scene or anything, because I never did that. I wouldn't have done that. That's not the type of person I am. I take accountability. I always have,
Well, you do take accountability. You do take accountability for putting a knife to his throat.
No, I never did that, sir.
You didn't do that either.
I never did that. I never did that. Sir, I never did that. I tell you the truth, I never did that. If I would have done it, I would tell you right here, yes, I did. But I never did that.
You went to a jury trial. You went to a jury trial, right?
Yes,
they found you not guilty of the more serious offense.
Yes, sir.
Murder, but they did convict you on the lesser offense, which means that they must have been some evidence that they convicted you.
Well, they convicted me because they say that the argument caused him to.
That's what I'm saying as well. That's what I'm saying as well.
Yes,
at that moment, that moment, whatever happened that moment, and the report is that you put a knife to his throat. That's the report. That's what we go by.
No, I understand that.
That's what we go by. So that's the report, and that created the situation that caused whatever went on with him medically to end up dying 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later in the hospital.
Yes, sir. That's what they say. Yes, yes.
Now, I don't know, you've got such a history here that's really puts me, and I'm sure probably concerns my colleagues as well, related to, it's such a bad history. Your relapse history is not so positive. I'm glad that you've been clean for this time. You're off of methadone. That's a good thing. I'm glad that you're involved with CCAR. No matter what happens today, I think that you should stay involved with CCAR and continue to build that recovery network for yourself. I think you need to, learn a little bit more about NA and its process, because it's not, as my colleague said, it's not just going to the meetings and listening to the war stories that you hear in the rooms. It's more than that, right? And so I think you need to kind of continue to focus on that.
Okay.
The ticket concerns me too. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't there. I don't get high. I don't get high in jail. There's nothing for me here, and I'm not going to do it because this is part of my recovery.
Well, we hear that a lot, and when people refuse their specific,
Yeah, but I didn't refuse. I just honestly I can't. I even have problems in parole, and they just
at some point you would have had to go to the bathroom. You could have done it at that particular point. Anyway, I don't really have a lot of questions for you. I think my colleague covered some ground. I appreciate you listening to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Keys.
So when you had just been re-released to special parole, May 2019, which was 3 months prior to this fight, what happened in those 3 months?
Ask me the question again. I'm sorry.
So when this fight happened, you had just been released to special parole 3 months earlier. And now you're at a methadone clinic, you're buying illegal drugs. You told the guy you didn't want fentanyl, I think is what it was, in it. You went to the car, you felt like it had fentanyl, you came back to confront him, and obviously angrily, so you got into an altercation. You'd only been out 3 months, or on special parole for 3 months. What happened in those 3 months that led you to that?
I I relapsed and I was using, well, I was on methadone. I relapsed. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I relapsed. I started using. Things weren't going great, and I relapsed. I was, you know.
Okay. With your connection to CCAR, you know, I'm happy, I'm very happy to hear about the connection with CCAR. And I think, you know, the connection with CCAR is, you know, very good and comparable to NA and everything. What specifically what specifically does your continued engagement with CCAR look like in the community?
That's one of my #1 goals. I really want to work with addicts, you know, because I think that who better to help an addict than a person that already went through that life, you understand? And I want to be a coach to them and talk to them about the things that I went through and life, you know, since a kid, you know, I've been doing this, you know, and it's all right to accept that you have a problem and change, that you could change, that change is possible.
Which, you know, I would just want to say, you know, I am bothered by your lack of what I consider lack of acceptance of responsibility for the fight and the death. And so it is possible to change, and it is possible to accept your true role in that. And it's not a definition of who you are. It's something that happened. And by accepting true responsibility, you can then work on it.
I accept the responsibility and the accountability that I was there and due to
Yeah, you denied significant parts though that multiple witnesses had all stated, but I don't want to harp on that. So you talk about your continued relationship with CCAR as being your supporting other addicts. How will you engage CCAR to support you and your
exactly? That's the way it's going to help me. It helps me also to stay clean by helping other people. It motivates me to stay clean more. You understand?
What about eating frequency? Do you have a sponsor now?
I'm gonna go to meetings. I'm gonna do the 30, what the lady said. I want to get involved in that and get a sponsor. Yes, I'm gonna do everything as possible to stay clean because I'm not going back to that. I'm 51 years old. I'm tired of being in here. I'm tired of being in jail.
Are you still currently connected with CCAR while you're in the facility?
Well, I'm trying. Yes, I am writing to get another thing that we have to do. I think is the professional, the second part, but for some reason, because of the construction and all that, they haven't been coming in and all that. But I am on the list for all that. I am, you know.
So you haven't been able to connect necessarily with a CCAR coach now that's in the community because they've stopped coming in because of the construction.
Yes. I got the certificate already.
Yeah,
So what I'm gonna do is I heard that because I'm already Hartford House approved. So I heard that in the Hartford House they have CCAR coaches, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is go to them so I can do the rest, whatever I have to do, volunteer.
How do you know when you might relapse? What are the signs? Do you know what causes your relapse?
Yeah, when you relapse in your mind first. Before you even relapse, you already got that thought in your head.
Okay. So what's your plan when you get that thought? What's your plan?
When your plan, you're supposed to call your sponsor. When you have to get your support system has to be there. You know, you have to go to them when you're feeling like that. You understand? Yep.
Okay. And would you go to your parole officer too if you're feeling like it's safe? Okay.
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right. I think
I've been very focused on myself when it comes to that, because even in here, you can relapse in here, but
absolutely. I
don't even go by it. There's a lot of shit going on in here that I would have been relapsed, and I don't do it because I know I can't. I'm not going that way. I'm a whole different person. You know, this time I have to focus on myself, and through the programs, I've been using my tools the way these guys have shown me, the Voices program, my anger. I know how to control my anger. You know, I know how to think clearly.
Do you have someone in there that you go to if you're feeling tempted in there? Because we know there are things.
I speak. I know a lot of CEOs here that I speak to, and friends, guys that I hang around. I barely come out myself. I'm always in my cell, and I communicate with one other person. I always at work all day. I work from 8:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5:45.
That's
And I
good.
come back, I just go to the gym and shower and stay in the cell. That's all I do. I
That's
talk to
good.
my bookkeeper.
That type of structure is good. That sounds good. And I do just want to note, in case it wasn't clear, in case any victims' relatives are watching, that you did write a letter, or whatever it's worth. We did write a letter separately for the victims' families, or the victim's family. Okay, thank you. That's all I have for questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
All right, so Mr. Moran, we're going to discuss your case. Please don't interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, So, a very concerning, and serious offense. You know, we typically see some of the, criminal behavior drop off as offenders age. That hasn't been the case for Mr. Moran, which brings us to this 2019 conviction for manslaughter in the second degree. He's done well with programming there in the facility, and employment and education. So all of that is recognized. The DRs are concerning, even if you accept the refusing specimen explanation. He had 2 fighting tickets, 2021 and 2022, which defies all logic given what he's in there serving his sentence for. He's been very unsuccessful on supervision in the past, to include special parole, which from which he was returned multiple times between 2018 and 2024. So, and the fact that he was on special parole is just, you know, we talk about special parole and officers being a resource and a part of the support system. And here he tells us he was on supervision, you know, engaged in MAT and buying heroin. So all of that is extremely concerning. I'm glad that he has 2 years of special parole to follow. That will begin in about 15 months. And I would be most comfortable today setting his conditions for that special parole period. Mr. Rodriguez?
I'm basically in the same place, and just loss of life case is always impactful. I appreciate that he wrote a letter of apology. He did say he was sorry to the victim's family.
Well, denying any responsibility.
Which is the other challenge that I had in this situation. That the facts just didn't seem to line up with his particular version, of what happened, and I did have some challenge with that. I'm glad that he's taking CCAR, and then it seems to me that if he keeps, moving in that direction, that he, at least he'd have some opportunity to have a support system on the outside. That if he was really deciding to change his life around at 51, I hope he is, will be very helpful for him. But I'm not in a place to grant discretionary parole today. So I will be assisting in setting the special parole.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm on the fence, but I do, I really appreciate his connection with CCAR, and honestly, it was the only thing in the interview that really bothered me was just discussing the actual offense. But I know he has been approved for a halfway house. I like that he's looked at his release plan and like community programs that could support his reentry, and he's looked into the fact that CCAR is where he plans to be, and I think that is a good release plan for him. And so I think I will be denied this point and set the special parole conditions for when that time starts.
So I have for the denial criminal history, offense committed on special parole, the nature and circumstances of that offense, and for institutional adjustment. Anything you want to add or change?
He's taking programming.
Okay, so for special parole conditions, halfway house placement, no contact with the family of JR. Anything to add? No alcohol? What do you want to?
Behavioral management for anger management. During the DRs.
Yeah.
The offense,
4 years ago.
but yeah,
It's taken anger management since then.
okay, I'm fine with that, doing that. And then he does have a detainer, but it's non-extraditable, so we do not include a Right, okay. Okay.
So in the matter of Manuel Moran, inmate number 278171, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons: your criminal history, your offense being committed while you are on special parole, the nature and circumstance of that offense, and your poor institutional adjustment. I further move to set the following conditions for your 2 years of special parole supervision. We have halfway house placement and no contact with the family of the deceased, initials JR. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Parole is denied. We wish you much success, Mr. Moran, when you go out. End of sentence.
Thank you, ma'am.
This concludes the hearing for Manuel Moran.
So they denied parole, and he'll be getting out soon, surely to commit more crimes, surely to kill more people. Again, to think about the fact that he has 6 convictions in his jacket for assault before he goes on and kills his friend, and then he gets the maximum that Connecticut's allowed to give him, 10 years, 8 years really that he has to serve, with 2 years of special parole. That's the maximum for what they got him with. They did, to their credit, prosecute him for felony murder. He was found guilty of the lesser charges, I guess, in manslaughter, second or whatever. And because what happened was that he had a knife to his buddy's neck, and then held his buddy in a choke lock where he was rendered nearly unconscious, and then he stepped and smashed his inhaler so that when his buddy went into an attack, an asthma attack, couldn't do anything to save himself. And he died in a hospital a few weeks later. And the jury, being that juries are juries, said, oh, well, we don't want to get him for the full charge of felony manslaughter. So they just got him for the minimum. The judge was only allowed to sentence him for 10 years. I was going to go on a rampage about blah, blah, blah. Where I think the insanity falls in this case is that Connecticut doesn't have in its legislation the ability for judges to sentence people as an habitual offender. See, in Louisiana, a judge would be able to look at this case and say, whoa, 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 whoa. You have 6 separate convictions just for assault. You've been in and out of prison your entire life, and now you're going to kill someone, and we can only sentence you to 10 years. In Louisiana, they'd be able to slap him with an habitual offender bill and give him even a potentially a life sentence. And here you can't. Connecticut can't. Look at something Sir Richard found. This is going to piss some of you off. Someone got him to write, a letter saying that you shouldn't. This was, dear members of Transportation Committee in Connecticut General Assembly. I'm writing in opposition of Bill BH 5180, an act repealing the statute allowing motor vehicle license for driving purposes only. So basically, there was like a bill passed that I guess wouldn't allow a license for certain people. My name is Manuel. I'm from Guatemala. I came here 11 years ago. After having a driver's license, it's a relief for me. And then blah, 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 blah. It goes into basically saying why it's important for him to be able to have a driver's license. Here's the news article if you want just more detail on the crime. Police said that they have arrived to found an unresponsive man, later identified as 53-year-old Julio Ruiz of Hartford, outside a substance abuse clinic on Main Street. There was no evidence of physical trauma initially observed. Ruiz was transported to the Hartford Hospital for treatment and never regained consciousness. He was pronounced dead on September 5th, 2019. So he was on a ventilator for 3 weeks. The way he was talking about it, it was like 3 weeks later. He was basically dead at the scene, okay? The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner later said the manner of death was homicide. Police said that was determined after conducting an autopsy and using testimony from witnesses. Investigators later determined that Ruiz was placed in a headlock and choked for up to 2 minutes, while 47-year-old Manuel Moran of Willimantic allegedly held a knife to his throat. Wow. Moran then stomped his inhaler and stole his property before fleeing on foot to the according to the police. Can you imagine the brutality of someone to stomp someone's inhaler? They stomped his inhaler. Last week, police obtained an arrest warrant. Who was charged with felony murder. On Tuesday, outstanding arrest warrants were served. It was already in custody on unrelated charges. You know, you would think he's on special parole. He's on special parole for something else already. And they could still only get him for 10 years. Here's, I mean, the appeal. Following the heated argument, a physical altercation with the defendant, the victim of the defendant was known was a man of frail health, died of complications following cardiac arrest and chronic bronchial asthma. What kind of defense attorney did he have where the jury is like, yeah, you know, we don't really think you should get the full felony murder thing. It is felony murder. He was in the act of robbing him. He choked him. He held a knife to him. You know? It's unbelievable. But he's going to get out and probably kill someone again. And look, in this case, it looks like the DA did try their best. And it was a jury that messed up this time. That's what it seems like to me. And we'll see him again. He's gonna come back on a special parole. He's gonna get revoked. We'll definitely see him again. I mean, his full term date's 9/8/2027, so it's gonna be another year and a half until we see him again. And you know, what can you do? I guess we could do one last hearing. This one's pretty wild. This is a wild hearing, guys. Let's jump in.
My name is Timothy John Wendell. My number is 434017.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Timothy Wendell, number 434017. He is serving a sentence of 6 years jail, followed by 4 years of special parole for arson third and larceny second. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of July 24th, 2026. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the voices program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within a very high range of specific. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hello, I'm kind of nervous. I've never really done this. If you could bear with me, please. The reason why I believe I should be granted parole is because this time I truly understand what I did was really, really wrong. It wasn't right. And I know because my drug addiction and my mental health is very real and it's very serious. And I'm addressing that right now. And I'm going to continue to address when I get out. I'm on methadone and I decided to get on it after 17 months of being incarcerated because I was still struggling with my addiction. I know it's very serious for me and I know I have to stay very close to it, so I know I don't ever use it again because I don't want to do it no more. I'm tired. I have a good support system, my mother, my brothers, my family. I have my higher power. And I know I can do this. I've done it before. I interstate compacted from New York to here with 3-year paroles. And I went to my mother's and I did it so well that I got off early. I did a year and I was able to submit early release and I didn't get one technical violation. So because of that, they honored me the early release from the parole. And then things went bad for me because I hurt my back at work. I got opiates in me. And then once the opiates got in me, it was off to the races and I wasn't taking my mental health meds. And I know that I have to take them now and I have to stay on them. Because if I don't, I start self-medicating. And I don't want to do that no more because once I start self-medicating, it's all off to the races. I don't want to do that no more. My mother will help me. We go to interstate communities right down the road from my mom's, and she goes there too for mental health, which is why I know it's real. And my mother's gonna make sure that we go every day. She's gonna make sure she's gonna be there with me and make sure that I'm a changed man this time. I truly am. You give me one opportunity, I can prove it to you, please. That's all I ask, just one chance. That's all. I know what I did was wrong and I won't do it again. I promise. I'm so sorry. I hurt a lot of people and it could have been way worse. It could have been way, way worse. And I know that. And I know because of the stupid drugs
And I don't want that no more. I'm gonna stay on the methadone. I know I need it. I know it's a part of me, and I know I have to stay on it until I can truly get off of it and be really better with my life. I know I have to be on it, and I'm gonna stay on it. I'm not gonna be one of these people that decide to get off it right before they leave. That does not make sense to a drug addict. I'm a needle addict. I was addicted to needles. When I was 19 years old, I was a heroin and crack cocaine addict. I don't want to do it no
Okay,
more. I'm tired.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Mr. Wendell, because we're getting a little far afield and you're getting very worked up. So I'm gonna ask you to sit and take a few deep breaths and center yourself so that we can proceed with the hearing, okay?
Thank you.
So what we're doing here today is making a decision about whether it's appropriate for you to finish the 6 years you have to serve out in the community on discretionary parole before you begin 4 years of special parole. And we have to make that decision based in the interests of public safety. All right, do you understand? This isn't whether we or not we like you or whether or not you're deserving. It's about weighing the risks to you reoffending and the crimes that make up your criminal history and your choices out in the community that put others at risk. So we're going to begin by asking you questions. After we're done with the questions, the three of us will discuss your situation and arrive at a decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Keys will begin the questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your opening statement. It was very helpful, and I appreciate your expressions of, acknowledging and remorse. And I know it may be hard to talk about it, but I do want to hear your perspective of what happened with your crime, with the arson offense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell us what happened, what you're responsible for?
Meriden police say 4 people were taken to the hospital with a range of injuries, including significant burns after a fire broke out here at 170 Colony Street. Meriden Police Department received a complaint around 1 a.m. of multiple people fighting in the area of the home, and they say when they arrived, there were several people outside of the multi-unit dwelling, reporting that there was a fire on the 2nd floor. Now, Meriden Fire Department responded to the fire in the building, and when firefighters entered the house, they located a female with an apparent head wound and a burned arm. At this moment, it isn't clear what prompted the fighting or the fire and how they're exactly related. But when we arrived, there were multiple police cars, 2 ambulance vehicles, and caution tape surrounding the house.
I was reckless. I went next door and got some gasoline in the bottle because we were supposed to clean it up, building outside, and it was all because of drugs. The whole reason was because of drugs. My drugs and money got stolen from me, and in assault with progress, they were trying to hurt me. And I was trying to save myself. I was stuck in a bathroom in the 2nd floor with a female. We were getting high and I was stuck in there and they were trying to kill me. So I threw gasoline, but I didn't light the fire, but I'm taking responsibility for the actions of the fire. If I never brought that bottle inside, it would have never have happened. It was wrong for me to do that.
Okay, can I ask, so you said you got the bottle of gasoline because you guys were trying to clean. How were you going to use the gasoline for cleaning?
Because we were outside, we were cleaning the building. It was a building, and they were cleaning the grounds outside. We was for cleaning the building. It was really for doing the lawn, and it was really to clean the building outside, the lawn area. We were trying to clean the building up because it was getting bad because the fragrance were around. It was too much garbage. It was getting bad. Didn't look good. It was next to a store that had a lot of kids going in and out of the store. So there was drug paraphernalia and stuff all over the floor. We was just trying to clean it up. I was trying to clean the building up. That's all I was really doing. I was truly just trying to clean the building up.
Okay. Okay, and then you said there were people coming after you. Were there real people coming after you that you know?
Oh no, there was. There was people, the girl that was in the bathroom said that the man hit her in the head with a pipe, that same lead pipe they hit me with, but he never got in trouble for it. She got 7 staples in her head. That wasn't because of me. She says it in her statement. That wasn't because of me. That was because of the man that was trying to hurt us. But he was able to write a statement against me. That's in there. She says it.
All right, and you said the pipe hit you too. So we
I had a
have
broken elbow. He broke my elbow. I had face contusions. That was from getting beat
Mr. Wendell, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to get into a calmer place and answer just the questions that are asked of you instead of all this other detail you're throwing at us, okay?
So we had heard that witnesses had said, I'll burn this house to the ground with you in it. Are you saying, did you say that?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
And why were you stuck in the bathroom? Because there were people outside of it, you think?
Because we were getting high in the bathroom. We were getting high in the bathroom. This whole case was over drugs because they robbed drugs. That's all it was over. I was scared to go to trial. I didn't have a paid lawyer.
Yeah.
I didn't have a paid lawyer, so I was scared. That's all. Or I would have went to trial.
Yeah, I know, I understand. Okay, and then the larceny for the cashing stolen checks. What happened with that?
I was introduced, I was in a bad neighborhood in Hartford. I was introduced to some guys who asked me if I wanted to make some quick money. And then during my homelessness, drug addiction, because I lost everything, I decided to go cash some checks for this guy. He had my name on it, so I cashed checks, got some money, got me a hotel. I just kept doing it. I didn't.
Okay.
My whole problem is because of drugs. I understand that now.
Yeah, it's great you understand that. It's really nice. It was nice to hear in your opening statement your commitment to addressing your mental health and your sobriety and recognizing that those are the two most important things for you. And that's huge. That's a huge accomplishment that you're there now. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So you were on the MAT program in the community, some sort of methadone or some sort of program like that in the community, but you also had talked about using crack cocaine and fentanyl daily. Were you using those street drugs while you were on the MAT program, or had you stopped the MAT program? And that's what you're talking about in your opening?
Yeah, the reason why I got on it was to try to stop the drug addiction, because when you get on it, you can't just automatically stop. You have to raise the dose high enough to where you feel comfortable enough to where you don't. The more you get to the level, then the level of use goes down. And I was working on that. And I was working on it. It shows I was going down. My use was going down. It was going down.
So you were slowly increasing the MAT, but you're still using street drugs. And at some point you get to,
That's one level's over the other.
Okay.
That's the reason for the program.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not going to get off it. Like one of these guys, see all these guys leave. They didn't want to get off of that. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I think it's good to know that. All right, and then, but you do have a DR. You have a couple of DRs, but some of them are relating to use. So you had an intoxication one in August last year. You were on the MAP program then, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you were. So can you tell us what happened with that?
It's hard to explain that. I tried to smoke some weed and it wasn't weed, man. Somebody gave me something that what it was, but it wasn't what it was. They told me they thought it was marijuana and it wasn't. And I slipped up and I made a mistake. And I learned from that mistake, and it wasn't what they said it was, and it almost killed me. And I would never touch another thing in here again. That was, I thought that's what it was. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And I had a bad reaction to whatever it was, and I had to go to the hospital, and they saved my life. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I have not touched anything since. I get drug tests all the time. I get drug tests from the MAP all the time. And every month I take one, and then the facility gives them to me, and I pass every single one. Every single one.
I don't see another DR for intoxication or contraband relevant to you since that August 2025 one. So that's good. And hopefully you feel pretty stable on the methadone now in the MAP program.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. You were in the facility-based domestic violence until March this year when you were removed. What happened? Why did you end up being removed?
The officer asked me to go into the shower so he could search my cell. and he started to take stuff out of my cell, and I called him a bunch of bad names. Called him a bunch of bad names that I should not have called him, but I didn't threaten him, and he wrote me for a threat ticket. The reason why I pled guilty to that is because I didn't want to sit in front of you in a red jumpsuit, so I can explain to you what happened. Because if I truly threatened that man, if you were a correction officer in a facility and someone threatened you to the point where you had to get him removed and write him up, would you want him in that same place, in that same unit? I sure wouldn't, but I am. And I talked to him. We apologized to each other the other day and everything. And we still keep going. Yeah, I'm just in the same unit, in the same jail, in the same unit that I allegedly threatened this man's life, and I didn't. But I didn't want to be in front of him in a red jumpsuit. But I did talk to him, and we have apologized to each other, so we can go as men, we can move on.
Good. Okay. So I think I just have one last question. You had mentioned it earlier. I was, when I was looking through your file and your history and everything, I was wondering if it looked like you do well when you live with your mom.
Yes, ma'am.
And you basically said that you were doing well, you were living with your mom, and then you got this injury at work, and that just kind of, so, okay, so that's good to hear. And I know she does support you, and it's wonderful, and she wants to help you. And so you have a wonderful, wonderful connection there.
Yes.
Do you know what else supports you? So your mom, the MAP program in the community, are there other supports that you can bring in, things that work for you?
I'm going to start going to like NAs and AAs and find help. People, places, and things is really real. So I know that I've done this many times. It's not my first time. So I know this time if I apply those three things, it really will work. Bad people brings you bad places, doing bad things. It's just common sense. So I'm going to try to go to healthy places to find correct people to be around, to socialize with. And I have my brothers, my nephews, and my parole officer is going to be my best friend. I learned that last time. As long as my parole officer and I have a good relationship, everything will work out. And I got to see my therapist every month. I got to do my drug thing every day, every week, every month. My one-on-one sessions I have to do. I'm not going to skip one appointment. I'm not going to miss one appointment unless I'm truly sick. Because I don't want to get anybody else sick if I'm sick. There's a real bad flu going around here, so I'm trying to make sure it's not.
So, so it's good you're on the MAP program. Unfortunately, because of the DR, you didn't finish domestic violence. You have not been able to get in addiction services, and I know there's wait lists, so I'm not putting that on you, but it's something we would like you to leave having the benefit of, particularly since addiction has been something that you struggled with. You do have a sponsor, confirmed sponsor, but I'll pass it off to my colleagues and see what questions they have. Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Wendell, I appreciate your wanting to improve yourself and do better, and that you understand, the seriousness of your addiction, which, we can see from your history, has been a contributing factor to many things. I'm concerned that you haven't taken an addiction services program yet. And I agree that I think you do need to have a domestic violence program. The information that we have on this offense was not just about you cleaning a building or the outskirts of a building with gasoline, which I wouldn't even understand what that would mean, to clean the outside of a building with gasoline. And I'm not sure that you really kind of accepting the seriousness of your particular offense and situation. So I'm at this moment, my colleague asked quite a few questions already. I have several concerns, especially around your addiction, because that seems to be the driving factor in all of this, right?
Yes, sir.
You were in the bathroom doing drugs with a young lady that you knew, and you had been doing this regularly. This wasn't a new thing. You weren't locked in the bathroom. And based on the story that we have, the gasoline was not poured on the outside, but poured into the bathroom. So, I'm having a hard time being able to kind of accept your version of this situation, and that concerns me. I didn't read a release plan for you. Did you put together a release plan for yourself?
What I'm gonna do, I have plans.
What your plan is when you do get released?
If you grant me parole, I'm gonna start to my classes first. I plan on getting do what my mom's she does CNA work. I like to help people. I wanted to be a CNA and help people because I like to help people. That's what I do. I like to help people. So I was gonna do that, and I'm a chef. I know how to I could build a whole house by myself if I don't have the tools. I have a lot of good skills and I can use them.
And why do you think you weren't using them before? Because of your addiction?
No, I had got a serious back injury. I got ruptured disc in my lower back, and I was out of work for over a year.
And what impact is that going to have on your release? Do you still have?
And I know there's yes, I'm gonna get my surgery. I gotta get surgery first. But I can do a lot of things now that I didn't know I could do. Like, I don't have to lift anything to help someone, to be there with a companion as a companion. My works for a companion as a companion. It's not hard. It's easy to do that. And I could be a CNA, so I know I can.
Yeah.
I like to help people. So I know that'd be it's a job that I could do. It's not going to hinder me. My back's not going to hinder me from doing that.
I
didn't understand that before. Like, there is jobs out there that I can do.
Yeah.
Because even though I do have a back injury.
But right now you don't have anything. I mean, there's nothing that you have planned at this point where you look to see what's available on the outside or any of that. I mean, I didn't see any plan at all. I also didn't see a relapse prevention plan for you either.
I'm going to.
And how are you going to handle relapse on the outside? What are your support systems to handle relapse?
I'm going to stay on my methadone. I'm going to go to classes. I'm going to start going to NA, AA. I'm going to surround myself around people that don't do drugs.
Are there NA and AA classes in the facility right now?
Yes, there is, but I can't attend them because of the ticket. And the ticket has to clear. I don't understand why if you get in trouble that they don't want you to go.
The ticket hasn't cleared?
No, it's from.
Oh, the most recent. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I don't really have any additional questions. Listen, I'm going to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So, Mr. Wendell, if you'd sit quietly and not interrupt us, we're going to discuss your case.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Wendell clearly is motivated and has a strong desire to get out and wants to have a healthy, happy life for himself. And his mom is certainly there for him, which is wonderful. And I think with her support, he has a chance. Unfortunately, he has not been able to take an addiction program yet. And to his own acknowledgement, that's really his, primary need for him. And I don't want to send him out and then have it not go well and he end up back in. It's not going to help anybody. So unfortunately, I don't feel he's ready at this time. He did get the DRs, which of course are difficult to get over, particularly when many of them do involve use. So I really want him to be able to complete a tier program. So I don't have an advantage today. I have inadequate evidence of offender change, inadequate program participation, adequate release plan, and nature or circumstance of the offense.
I think we should go with poor institutional adjustment over nature and circumstance so that we're looking at the dynamic reasons.
Yeah.
You're on board?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Okay. So are we looking at a rehear?
I said if you can get a chance to get into TV or get into addiction services.
I didn't have that, but yeah, he does go until 2029 and is supportive, and he does know now he needs to stay on all medications.
Well, he's already taken himself off his mental health medications, which I think is, part of why we're seeing him so agitated today. I wouldn't be comfortable before October of 2027. All right, Mr. Wendell, in the matter of Timothy Wendell, inmate number 4344017, there's a motion to deny parole at this time due to your inadequate program participation in evidence of offender change, your inadequate release plan, and your poor institutional adjustment. I further move that we rehear you in October of 2027 with the recommendation that you not get any additional disciplinary reports, that you complete an addiction services program and any other positive programs, New Thoughts as an example, Voices as an example, and come back before the board with a release plan that includes relapse prevention. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So Mr. Wendell, will see you here in October of next year. So continue to work on yourself and see if you can't get some vocational training as well. And come before the board next time with a release plan that includes relapse prevention. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Timothy Wendell.
Care about the fucking water that's killing us. Care about fucking money. That's all you care about.
Okay, that's enough.
So I did call, segregation, they're gonna run the other guy.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow, a CEO said something. That's enough. Stop screaming, or I'll say that's enough again. You know that the inmates run the asylum in Connecticut. It is insane. And if we didn't have anything else to reference this to, we would just think it's like this in all prisons. It's not. Believe me, Louisiana, people show up to the parole hearing. There's a warden next to them. There's someone next to them, and they're always at their best behavior, and they're saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. And it's like a normal human interaction. It's like it feels appropriate for almost. You have exceptions, but and here it's just it's crazy. He was just granted a rehearing. They gave him a gift, and he storms out cursing. This guy is scary. He's on actually like the top of the list. He is unstable. Can you imagine? He's moving around like he's on something right now. He's all over the place. He's crying like a little baby. He's shaking. He's like there's something really scary. He's a 40-year-old man. He's 40 years old, and he's acting like I don't know. I don't want to insult. I have a 5-year-old. I don't want to insult my 5-year-old. I think my 5-year-old would do better. It's just wild. And again, his record, it only shows arson, 3rd degree, 6 years jail, special parole, 4, larceny, 2nd degree. He got larceny, 2nd degree a year after the arson. So apparently he was out, like, I guess on bond or something. I don't know. And he's saying he wants to be a CNA. Are you kidding me? Can you even imagine? Like, are you kidding me? First of all, like, whenever a man is a CNA, it's because he's big and strong and he can help, usually, right? Am I wrong? He's got this lower back, probably can't lift anything up. And anyways, you're gonna put him around older, vulnerable people who have drugs, like access to that. Yeah. What a brilliant idea. Like the only thing I think of, he's thinking of doing that so he can he's already planning to have access to victims, or he's just not there. He's not a stable human. He's not stable. He's not there. So put in the comment section, guys. Put in the comment section. He's coming up for a rehearing. Let me know whether you think he's going to be successful. I will predict right now, absolutely 100% no. This is the easiest one. He's not going to take more programs. He's going to have more write-ups. You can clearly see that he's not like he's going to show up to his rehearing and he's going to basically pull the same stunt that he is now. Is there a chance he won't? I don't know. Maybe if he gets medicated, you would think that would be mandatory. I guess it's not. In Connecticut, they have so many, everything is for the prisoner, even though it's not in the prisoner's best interest. Maybe if he's under proper, we never seen an inmate who I imagine he's Jewish. Have we, maybe we've seen two? Have we seen any? It's kind of, it's unique. You don't see that very often. But there are certain benefits when you're in prison. Like why you might do it, right? If you say that you're under the Jewish religion or belief, you'll have all these organizations that will take care of you. You'll get special food. You'll get a lot of services. So there are reasons just to do that. It's manipulative, selfish reasons. Anyways, so look, scary case. Out of all the ones that we saw, this one kind of scares me the most. Can you imagine being his cellie? But there you go. I will predict we will do a return of segment, and and I predict that and they won't let him back out. They won't let him back out. I mean, his full term date is 7/23/2029, so he's sitting on a little bit of time. He's been there since for a little bit. Anyways, whew, a wild ride. It was a fun ride. Let me know if you like these long segments, these longer multiple hearings, because look, if they get a lot more views, I'll play them more. If they don't, then I won't. And with that, I'll let you go.